You know what keeps me up at night more than my neighbor's rooster that thinks 4 a.m. is an appropriate time to start screaming? The fact that every single market crash in history follows the exact same playbook. And I mean exact. Like if crashes were a Netflix show, they'd be getting roasted for recycling the same plot every season. But here's the kicker. Most people miss the warning signs completely. They wake up one day, check their portfolio, and it's down 40%. And they're shocked. But the patterns, they were there the whole time, flashing like a neon sign outside a questionable Vegas motel. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4 patterns that show up before every market crash. And I'm not talking about the ones you've heard about a million times. We're skipping the tulip mania and the Great Depression. Instead, I'm going to walk you through 4 crashes that are way more recent, way more relatable, and honestly, way more terrifying because some of this stuff is happening right now. Hi, I'm Matt. On this channel, I break down personal finance, investments, and money psychology so you don't have to learn these lessons the expensive way. If that sounds useful, smash that subscribe button because apparently YouTube likes when I beg for validation. And real quick, drop a comment right now telling me 3 things. What city you're watching from, how old you are, and what you think causes market crashes. All right, so here's how this works. Every market crash, and I mean every single one, follows 4 patterns. Investor overconfidence, regulatory failure, some new innovation that nobody fully understands, and massive debt buildup. Those 4 ingredients show up every time like clockwork. Now, most finance channels would take you back to 1634 to talk about tulips in the Netherlands, which, sure, interesting story. But you know what's more useful? Understanding how these patterns played out in crashes you actually remember or could have lived through. So we're going to look at 4 modern crashes. Let's start with pattern number 1, investor overconfidence. And to understand this one, we need to go back to 1999 when everyone thought they were a genius. Pattern number 1, dot-com bubble. Picture this. It's 1999. The internet exists. Barely. Most websites look like they were designed by someone's nephew in Microsoft Paint, but people are convinced this is going to change everything, which, to be fair, it did. But that doesn't mean every company with a .com at the end deserved a billion-dollar valuation. This is when we meet Chad. Chad is 26 years old, and he works at pets.com as their digital strategist, which is a fancy 1999 way of saying he updates the website and sometimes posts on message boards. But Chad's making $80,000 a year, which in .com bubble is basically poverty wages, because everyone around him is getting stock options and becoming millionaires overnight. So Chad starts day trading, and at first he's doing pretty well. I mean, everyone was doing well. You could throw a dart at a ticker tape and make 300% returns. This was the era when companies with 0 revenue were going public and their stock would jump 500% on day 1. Chad's favorite stock, CMGI. It's an internet holding company, which is a 1999 way of saying we own pieces of other companies that also have no idea what they're doing. At its peak, CMGI is trading at $163 per share. Chad buys in at $140. He's convinced it's going to $500. But here's where the overconfidence really kicks in. Chad doesn't just invest his savings. He opens a margin account. For those who don't know, margin is basically borrowing money from your broker to buy more stocks. It's leverage. And in a bull market, it feels like a cheat code. Chad's thinking, if I can make 50% returns with my own money, imagine what I can make with twice as much money. So Chad quits his job at pets.com. Why would he work for $80K when he's making that in a month trading stocks? He even buys a Porsche. Not a new one, but still, it's a Porsche. He's 26 and living the dream. He's got frosted tips, a Palm Pilot, and a bookmarks folder full of day trading chat rooms. Life is good. But here's what's crazy. Nobody saw the murder coming. See, everyone thought the internet was different. This time it's different is the 4 most dangerous words in investing. But people genuinely believe that old rules didn't apply. Profits? Who needs profits? Revenue? Overrated. As long as you had a website and a dream, money would flow. Then reality hit. March 2000. The bubble starts deflating. Slowly at first, but then faster and faster. Companies that were worth billions suddenly can't make payroll. Pets.com, where Chad used to work, spent $300 million on marketing, including a Super Bowl ad with a sock puppet. The company lasted 268 days after going public. The sock puppet outlived the company. CMGI, Chad's favorite stock, drops from $163 to under $1. Chad's portfolio, which was worth over $400,000 at the peak, is now worth about as much as a used Honda Civic. But here's the worst part. That margin loan still needs to be paid back. Chad doesn't just lose his gains, he loses everything. The Porsche gets repossessed, he moves back in with his parents. He still has the Pets.com sock puppet though, which is worth more than his stock portfolio at this point. This is investor overconfidence in action. When markets are going up, everyone feels like a genius. Risk feels like a myth. But the crash is always hiding in plain sight. People were paying insane prices for companies that had never made a dollar in profit. They were quitting their jobs to day trade. They were borrowing money to buy more stocks. These are the warning signs. And if you're thinking, well, that was the 90s, people are smarter now, hold that thought, because we're going to talk about crypto bros in a minute, and you're going to realize humans haven't learned anything. But first, let's look at the second pattern, regulatory failure. And for this one, we need to meet Linda. Pattern number 2, savings and loan crisis. So it's 1989. Reagan has been president, the economy is booming, and there's this beautiful idea floating around Washington that regulations are just bureaucratic red tape that holds back innovation and prosperity. So they start cutting regulations, especially in the banking sector. Now, savings and loan banks, or S&Ls, are basically community banks. They take deposits and give out mortgages. Pretty simple business model that had worked for decades. But then, deregulation happens, and suddenly these banks can do way more risky stuff, and nobody's really watching. Enter Linda Merriweather. She's 43 years old, works as a loan officer at a community S&L, and she genuinely believes she's helping people achieve the American dream. Linda's office has wood paneling, a poster that says "Hang in there" with a cat dangling from a branch, and a framed photo of her at jazzercise class. She calls everyone hun and has shoulder pads so aggressive they could take out someone's eye. Linda's bank used to have strict lending standards. Income verification, credit checks, down payments, the boring stuff. But after deregulation, those rules became more like suggestions. And Linda's boss is putting pressure on her to approve more loans because the bank needs to grow. So Linda starts approving loans that she never would have approved before. Someone wants a mortgage, but their only listed income is entrepreneur. Approved, hun. Someone wants to buy their 7th rental property with zero money down. You got it, sweetie. At one point, Linda approves a loan for a guy who lists his golden retriever as a cosigner. I'm only partially joking. The logic was simple. Housing prices always go up, so even if someone can't make their payments, you can just foreclose and sell the property for more than the loan amount. It's foolproof. Except it's not, because it's never foolproof. But Linda's not alone. This is happening at S&Ls across the country. Banks are giving out loans like candy on Halloween. They're investing in commercial real estate, junk bonds, and all sorts of risky assets that they don't fully understand. And the regulators? They're understaffed, underfunded, and frankly not that interested in raining on everyone's parade. This is the regulatory failure pattern. When regulators either move too slow or don't move at all, financial institutions push boundaries. They take on more risk, they assume someone else is watching the guardrails, but nobody is. By the late 1980s, S&Ls are failing left and right. And these aren't small failures. Over 1,000 banks collapse. 1,000! The government has to step in with a massive bailout that cost taxpayers over $100 billion. In 1989 dollars, that's like $250 billion today. Linda's bank is one of the casualties. It gets seized by federal regulators. Linda loses her job. Worse, she loses her pension because it was tied to the bank. All those mortgages she approved, a huge chunk of them defaulted. The bank was insolvent. And here's what really stings. Linda thought she was doing the right thing. She was helping families buy homes. She was making her boss happy. She didn't understand that the entire system was built on a foundation of optimism and not much else. This is what regulatory failure looks like. It's not always dramatic, it's gradual. It's a slow erosion of standards until one day the whole thing collapses. And by the time people realize what's happening, it's too late. Now, if you're still watching at this point, you're in the 12% of viewers who actually make it past the halfway mark on finance videos, which tells me you actually care about learning this stuff and not just doom scrolling. So genuinely, thank you for being here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now because we're about to get into the wildest crash story you've ever heard. Pattern number 3, flash crash. All right, so it's May 6th, 2010. The stock market has mostly recovered from the 2008 financial crisis. Things are looking good. And then at 2:32 p.m. Eastern Time, something absolutely insane happens. The market starts dropping. Fast, really fast. Within 5 minutes, the Dow Jones drops 600 points. Within 20 minutes, it's down nearly 1,000 points. $1 trillion in value just vanishes into thin air. Stock prices are glitching out. Some stocks are trading for pennies. Others are trading for $100,000. The market looks like it's having a seizure, and nobody knows why. Traders are panicking. News anchors are freaking out. CNBC is basically just showing people screaming on the trading floor. It looks like the apocalypse. And then, about 36 minutes after it started, the market recovers most of its losses. Just as mysteriously as it crashed, it bounces back. So what happened? Well, it takes investigators months to figure it out. And when they do, the answer is somehow even weirder than anyone expected. The crash was caused by one dude, one single person, trading from his bedroom, in London, while living with his parents. Meet Navinder Sarao. Nav is 31 years old, and he's basically the final boss that nobody knew existed. He's not some Wall Street hotshot. He's not working for a hedge fund. He's literally trading from his childhood bedroom with a computer setup that looks like a teenage gamer's dream. His mom brings him tea while he's trading. But Nav has figured out a strategy called spoofing. Here's how it works in simple terms. Nav would place massive fake orders to buy or sell stocks, like $200 million worth of orders, but he never intended to actually execute these trades. He'd cancel them at the last second. Why would he do this? Because those fake orders would trick the market algorithms into thinking there was huge buying or selling pressure, and Nav would trade in the opposite direction, making profit off the confusion. It's like putting your hand out for a handshake and then pulling it back at the last second, except with hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, this alone wouldn't crash the market, but on May 6, 2010, Nav's algorithm interacted with thousands of other trading algorithms in exactly the wrong way. It created a cascade effect. Algorithms saw the fake selling pressure and started selling, which triggered other algorithms to sell, which triggered more algorithms to sell. It was a death spiral. This is the third pattern. New innovation that nobody understands. In this case, it was high-frequency trading algorithms. These computer programs could make thousands of trades per second. They were supposed to make markets more efficient, and in theory, they did. But nobody fully understood what would happen if all these algorithms started reacting to each other. Nav didn't mean to crash the market. He was just using a strategy he'd been using for years. But the market had become so algorithm-dependent that one person's spoofing could trigger a $1 trillion meltdown. The craziest part? Nav made about $70 million using this strategy over several years. He lived with his parents and drove a beat-up car. The FBI eventually caught him, extradited him from the UK, and he got house arrest. But for one afternoon in 2010, this guy in his pajamas basically broke the stock market. Remember Chad from earlier? If Chad had still been trading in 2010, he would have panic sold everything in those 36 minutes and locked in massive losses before the market recovered. Because when you don't understand how the system works, you can't tell the difference between a real crisis and a glitch. This is what happens when innovation moves faster than understanding. High-frequency trading, algorithmic trading, all of it was supposed to make markets more stable. Instead, it created new vulnerabilities that nobody anticipated, and it almost broke everything. But we're not done, because there's one more pattern we need to talk about: the buildup of debt and leverage. And for this one, we need to fast forward to 2022 and meet the most recent victim of market crashes.
Pattern number 4, crypto winter. Okay, so it's 2021, Bitcoin, Ethereum, everything's going to the moon. NFTs are selling for millions. Your coworker who used to talk fantasy football is now explaining blockchain to anyone who will listen. Meet Kyle Morrison. Kyle is 29, a crypto influencer with 47,000 subscribers. Laser eyes profile pic. Rocket emojis in every tweet. Kyle's portfolio at peak, $850,000. Not bad for a guy who was flipping sandwiches at Panera 2 years earlier. But Kyle's not just holding crypto, he's trading on leverage, all in on Luna and UST, with 20x leverage. Luna was a cryptocurrency tied to UST, an algorithmic stablecoin. Complicated. Nobody fully understood it, but it promised crazy returns, and Kyle was convinced it'd make him a millionaire. 20x leverage means Kyle borrowed $19 for every $1 he put in. Luna up 10%, Kyle makes 200%. Luna down 5%, Kyle loses everything. But Kyle's got diamond hands. Crypto speak for, I'll hold even if it goes to zero. He tweets about FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. Anyone suggesting Luna has problems? Just spreading FUD. Kyle knows better. Then, May 2022. UST loses its dollar peg, drops to 90 cents, then 80, then 50. Luna starts crashing with it. Kyle's not worried. Just a dip, buy the dip, diamond hands. But it keeps dipping. Luna, $80 to $60 to $40 to $20. His exchange sends margin call warnings. He ignores them. This is FUD. It'll bounce. It doesn't. Luna goes from $20 to $10 to $1 to basically zero. 60 billion market cap gone in 48 hours. Kyle's $850,000 portfolio, now worth $84. Kyle got liquidated. Positions automatically closed. He didn't just lose gains. He lost everything. Crypto winter had begun. The entire crypto market collapsed. Bitcoin down 70%, Ethereum down 80%, and it was all because of that fourth pattern, debt and leverage. Luna wasn't alone. The whole crypto ecosystem was built on leverage. People borrowing against crypto to buy more crypto. Exchanges lending customer deposits. House of cards. One piece falls, everything comes down. This is leverage. It amplifies everything. Up, you're a genius. Down, you're destroyed. Kyle borrowed money for bigger bets, assuming prices go up forever. Sound familiar? Quick question. How many of you bought crypto in 2021? Drop it in the comments. Here's the thing. Buying crypto isn't the mistake. Buying on leverage, not understanding it, assuming it only goes up, that's the mistake. Same mistake Chad made with .com stocks and Linda made with mortgages. And here's what should terrify you. Remember all four characters? Chad thought internet was different. Linda thought housing always goes up. Nav thought his algorithm was foolproof. Kyle thought crypto was the future. They were all partially right. Internet did change everything. Housing did recover. Algorithms are the future. Crypto probably is here to stay. But being right long-term doesn't protect you from the short-term crash. Chad was living with parents when Amazon and Google started. Linda lost her pension before housing's biggest boom. Nav got house arrest while high-frequency trading became standard. Kyle's still tweeting buying the dip while real crypto companies build products. The patterns are always the same. And here's what's happening right now in 2025 that should make you nervous.
So how do you spot the next crash? Ask yourself 4 questions. Question 1. Are people investing without caring what something is actually worth, or are they just buying because they think they can flip it for more money tomorrow? If your Uber driver is giving you stock tips, that's not a good sign. Question 2. Is there a new market or asset class popping up faster than regulations can keep up? Are people saying the old rules don't apply? Because, spoiler alert, the old rules always apply eventually. Question 3. Is there some new financial innovation that everyone's excited about but nobody fully understands? If you can't explain how it works to a 10-year-old, you probably shouldn't put your money in it. Question 4. Are people buying investments with borrowed money? Is everyone leveraged to the gills? Because when things go south, leverage turns a bad situation into a catastrophic situation real fast. Now, here's what you should do if you spot these patterns. 4 quick action steps. First, don't panic sell everything and move to cash. That's how you lock in losses and miss the recovery. Markets crash, but they also recover. Always have. Second, make sure you're diversified. Chad had everything in tech stocks. Kyle had everything in crypto. Don't be Chad or Kyle. Spread your bets. Third, avoid leverage like it's your ex who just texted, "We need to talk." Leverage works great until it doesn't, and when it doesn't, it destroys you. Fourth, and this is the most important one, keep learning. The people who survive crashes are the ones who understand what's happening. Education is your best protection against getting wrecked. Remember Chad with his Porsche and his Palm Pilot? He's now a middle manager at a tech company and doing fine. He learned his lesson the expensive way. Remember Linda with her shoulder pads and her hang in there poster? She eventually got another banking job, but she lost years of retirement savings. Nav, he's still under house arrest, probably still living with his parents. And Kyle, he's still tweeting about crypto, still has laser eyes in his profile pic, and is still claiming he's going to make it all back. The crash patterns never change. Overconfidence, regulatory gaps, innovation nobody understands, and debt that piles up until it all comes crashing down. Every single time. So here's my final question for you. Drop a comment right now. Tell me what city you're watching from, how old you are, and what you think is the biggest risk in the market right now. Is it AI stocks? Is it housing again? Is it something else? I genuinely want to know what you think after watching this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you even doing? Click that button. This channel is all about learning from other people's expensive mistakes so you don't have to make them yourself. The next crash is coming. It's always coming. But now you know what to look for. And that means you don't have to go down with the ship. I'll see you in the next one.